current unit. We have already done like website, www, its application, what is internet, how it is different from www, computer networking, types of network. Among all these chapters, there will be 7 mark question for your exam. It may be like they can give in one marks, or maybe they just can divide the question in so many parts so that they can cover all of the features. So from that unit, this is the last topic which we are covering, which is web browser. Now see, what is a web browser? As we already are aware about that web browser is nothing but it's an application which has been used to access your web. In general terms, if we talk about how we can access the web, we can only do with the help of web browser. If web browser is not there, we cannot access any of the web. So in general terms, if you want to define web browser is nothing but it is just a simple application, software application, which actually makes us enable to visit or to go through or to access the www world. If browser is not there, we cannot actually access it. Now that was the general definition जो हमको समझ में आता है what browser is. But actually what happens when the data has been sent by the server, it's web browser's function to render it. That means whatever the code has been sent to it, the front code is generally in the language HTML. So web browser's functionality is to read and process all the HTML code and show it into the human understandable form on your screen. Coding is done into the HTML, but if HTML will be here on the screen, might be some of the people will not aware, and the people who are completely unknown about the HTML language, they'll definitely not understand it. So what's the purpose of web browser? If we talk about in technical terms, web browser is a software application which actually is useful to render the HTML content comes from the web server. It processes all the contents from there, like text are there, links are there, images are there. It actually process all of this and can show it on your screen human understandable form, so that we can just read it out. We can just see how it has been uh, developed or designed. So reading them one time, that a browser, short for web browser, is a software application that is used to search for, reach, or explore websites in general way. The primary function of a web browser is to render HTML code, the code used to design markup web pages. That means the one which has been written into the HTML language. Each time a web browser loads a web page received from the web server, it processes the HTML. Whatever the HTML code is there, it actually processes the HTML code, which may include text, links, or references to the image or other items. Also, it has CSS, cascading style sheet. So you must be aware about CSS. That CSS is that part of the code in HTML which actually defines how your page appearance should be, how the header should look like, how the fonts for the entire page should be, how the color of the entire page or the body of the page should be. So everything, all the designing part has been generally defined in your CSS. And JavaScript functions, that means used for dynamic web pages. So this all things are processed by your web browser. Again repeating, we have two definitions, like first web definition, which is a very general definition, which is like web browser is a software application which is used to access or explore the world of www. Also, the web browser is a software application which actually helps for rendering the HTML images, HTML document, which can contain any links, which can contain text, can contain images, videos, graphics, CSS, JavaScript, and many more. So all of that are rendered by the web browser so that they can just see you in the human understandable language. So this is what your web browser is. Coming on to the next slide, which says basic feature of a good web browser. Basic features: speed, simplicity, and security. Speed definitely would be a required feature, because if the speed of web browser is quite low, we'll generally not like to use it. Like if you see Internet Explorer and Google Chrome, if you by the time taken by the Internet Explorer is quite larger than as compared to Google Chrome, and that's the reason that the number of users which are actually using Internet Explorer are depleting day by day. So speed becomes a major factor of using a good feature of a web browser, which actually makes people to use it. Going through the paragraph, that a browser should be able to quickly load web pages, including multimedia files, no matter how dynamic the content is. As we already read that as the dynamic content will increase, the time it takes to load will also increase. If the images will be increased, the time to take the load the page will also increase. So your web browser should be coded or should be developed in such a way that it can process even heavy data quickly. So that's what speed says. Nowadays, images and videos dominate online platforms which require too much of data to be processed. So this is going to be there. It cannot be an excuse that since your images are so many or your links are so many to the outer world, the outer pages, that's why it takes a lot of time. It will definitely consume the time, but then your browser should be designed in a way or coded in a way that it should be a bit faster. Simplicity in the way that its look and appearance should be simple, because anyway, with the help of web browser, we are going to access the websites. If web browser's look is so complex and is full of like its background is full of complex images and all, which everybody doesn't feel good to see. People generally prefer simple background, and especially for the web browsers, because web browsers, there is nothing which we can actually have on the main screen of the web browser. We always wanted to see go to the websites or any another web page. In that case, if it would be so difficult to even see where is the address bar is there, where is the search box is there in that browser, it would be difficult for you to use. Not difficult for you to use, but you will not feel like using it if its appearance is not that soothing. So that should be simple. Security, now the coming to security, it should be secure at each step of time. It cannot be like, okay, we have already secured our data at the network layer and all, so we no need to worry about this. No, every stage should have a security. The first stage which enters is like whenever you open a browser, then only goes into the world of internet. So browser should be secure, because in any way browsers keeps your cookies with them. We'll discuss what is cookies. So in a way they are keeping your information with them. If they are not enough secure, anybody could hack and just take our information from there. In that case, if we talk about basic feature of web browsers, it should be it is speed should be quite high, simplicity and security should be there. Major functions of a typical web browser, we do not need to read it. Actually, you already know it, because nowadays everyone is just aware about what web browsers is, even though just going through them. First says send and receive internet resources. That means you can just have any app, you can send email files, you can send the software applications from one place to another place, which is a kind of resource. Access web pages, render and display them. That means you can access the different web pages and you can see the different web pages design, how it has been designed by rendering the HTML of it. You can select and see our favorite pages, which is functionality of a browser. You can print the documents from it. You can keep records of our activity. Keep records means in a way you are keeping the history of whatever you have done. So web browser has a function that keeps a history of whatever the tabs you have visited before. Stores information in the cloud. That means you can save the information over there from with the help of web browsers. Install application. Install application means with the help of web browser you can access the different websites, and from the different websites you can always install the different applications, which is your whatever your requirement do you have. So these are the few functions of the web browser which you can even write by yourself. Coming on the toolbar. Web browser is having a toolbar which is having some basic functions. Like first function we have is back, which actually says going to the previously opened page. Forward moves to the page from where you have come to present page using back button. Home, open web page whose URL is stored as the home page. I'm just reading it out because I know you already know about it. I don't feel like we should discuss this all things. This is so easy that every day you are using all of this thing. Refresh, even though you want the explanation, you can just, yeah, Divyam. Do you have any doubts? You have raised your hand.
Yes, let's say I'm using the Facebook application. So what is the browser out there? Like what will be the structure, मतलब browser, server, application?
Facebook application in a way which that means you are acting it
So
as a browser.
isn't that the browser, the application, Facebook application we're using in the phone?
Yeah. So that's an
That can be,
application. If you're using it with the help of browser, then that's different. But if you are using Facebook directly application from the downloading by Play Store, then there is no requirement of the web browser at all.
So there's a requirement only then.
There are two ways in which you can access actually your Facebook. One is with the help of web URL, which you actually do with the help of web browser, and one is directly downloaded from the Play Store. So in that case, web browser is no way attached to the Facebook application. Then it is an independent application which has been downloaded from the Play Store to your own local machine.
Okay. Okay, ma'am, got it.
Okay, so coming on to back, forward, home, refresh, reloads your current web page, search bar with suggestions, type search text, whatever you want to search for, history, list of web pages opened so far, links to news and other vertical search options, ability to save pages to favorites, pop-up blocker, and some optional features such as the ability to use translate, vote on pages, and other custom buttons. So you can write whatever the things you feel like in web browser toolbar. There are so many web browsers available in it, and so everyone has their own choice of using a web browser. Suppose if I prefer choosing Google Chrome, might be other would be comfortable with Mozilla Firefox. So each web browser has their own features also other than the bold ones. Bold ones are those which are like basic functions which all of the web browsers are having. Still, there are many new other features which individual web browsers do have. So you can just go through them and just explore your web browsers once. Now we'll be just discussing what are the commonly used web browsers. So first one we have is Google Chrome. It is developed by Google Incorporation. It is an open and free source. Why open and free source? What they're saying so because it is an open and free source. That means you can freely download it anytime, whatever you want. Also, free source says that its source code is available online also. That means it is open for everyone to enhance. If anybody want to enhance them from their side, that will definitely be verified by the company. But if we want to add an additional functionality to it, its source code is available openly to you to edit it or to uh, try it out the different way how you can just add on the functionality to it. It is an open and free source. Again, open why? Because you can download it from any platform. It's not confined to any fixed platform. So that is what it's saying is it is an open and free source. It runs on different operating systems like Microsoft Windows, macOS, Chrome OS, Linux, Android, and iOS. It was launched in 2008, and since then it has become the most popular web browser in the world market. Google Chrome is very strong in its application performance and JavaScript processing speed. See, why we are using this? Just because of its speed. The major factor which taken over another web browsers is just because of its speed. You can see over written where it's very strong in its application performance and JavaScript processing speed. Now, what does this JavaScript processing speed means? It is saying that if you want to create a dynamic web page, you use JavaScript for it, you use Ajax for it. So if you're using dynamic web page, that even though it is designed such a way that it actually processes it more faster than any other compared to any another web browser. It allows user to create local desktop shortcuts, which will open the desired web page quickly and easily. That is also a unique functionality maybe to it that you can just create the shortcut of the files on your local desktop so that you can access it whenever you want. Coming on to Mozilla Firefox, this web browser is also free and open, developed by Mozilla Corporation, Mozilla Foundation in 2002. It works on Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, and Linux operating systems. Firefox features a pop-up blocker, anti-phishing, and anti-malware warnings, making it easy to validate a website before we enter. Now, what does this mean? Pop-up blocker. Pop-up blocker means generally whenever you access any website, so many pop-ups come like you can download this or you can enable this or maybe some advertisement kind of that you can go to that particular. Generally, it is like they takes you to some another page or they just starts downloading as you click on them. So Firefox has a feature that you can just enable the pop-up blocker over there. That means no more pop-up will be appeared on your screen while you are surfing your web. Anti-phishing, anti-phishing that means suppose if we take an example of Zoom only for now, or not Zoom, banking site any. So anti-phishing says that what actually the hackers and crackers are doing when the ones who want to steal your information, and it is very crucial in the case of banking sites. So what they actually do, Like if my URL is www.sbi.co.in, so what they will do, they will create similar kind of URL, not the exact, because already exact one is already there in the internet. So they cannot create the exact one, but what they do is they create similar kind of. So it is like www.sbis.co.in. पर वो इतना छोटा सा चेंज होता है that you could not figure it out. Okay, this has been changed. Generally, that's why people keep on saying that make a practice of writing the URL yourself. Do not do it like okay www अच्छा नीचे आ गया है तो enter करके press कर दो, because what they do, they generally uh, code it like this that whenever you want to access SBI, first link will be for their website, and which is not actually sbi.co.in, but which is actually www.sbis.co.in. But we missed our S. And what we did, it is similar look and appearance as our original website page is having. So what we'll do, we'll just put our ID and passwords over there, and we'll just put the, as we press enter, our details will go to them, their database, and then they can access all our accounts and everything. So that is what your anti-phishing. So Firefox makes it they actually validates the website. Until and unless if it is in their database, they actually tries to validate that the site which has been written by you is actually correct. It is not an anti-phishing website. Anti-malware warnings, that means downloading or installing, like whenever you open any website, if that website is having so many viruses, it automatically starts get downloading. That click on this, and if you click on that, you move to some another web pages which is not actually required. Download this, and so message starts coming up. So that's what anti-malware what actually does. It warns you before installing any of the software or before even getting it downloaded, getting a software to download. That it is not safe to download. Then that is it is just from whether you want to keep it or whether you do not want to keep it. So these are some of the special features which are being provided by Mozilla Firefox. Now see, every day the browsers are enhancing. So it might be possible that now Google Chrome is also having that functionality, but Mozilla Firefox was the first one which was having this additional functionality with it, and that's why it became popular of that. Apple Safari, this web browser is free and closed source. Nobody would update it from their side. Only Apple team can update it. Free, that means you can download it from anywhere, any platform. Developed by Apple Incorporation. It works on OS X, iOS, and Microsoft Windows operating systems. Its market launched in 2003 and works on WebKit to render graphics. Like we have Java, we are using JavaScript or Java language for rendering so many graphics or not. In similar way, they have a WebKit which has been used for rendering the graphics and run JavaScript Safari in faster and more energy efficient than any another browser. It is more faster and more energy efficient than any another browser. Internet Explorer, this web browser was developed by Microsoft Corporation, integrated into the Microsoft Windows operating system in all its version. What does it mean integrated? That whenever you will be installing your Microsoft Windows operating system, so by default, Internet Explorer will come with it. You do not need to separately download it and run it. But whenever the Windows will be installed, Windows operating system will be installed for the first time on your machine. By default, the Internet Explorer will also be there with the operating system. So we do not need to install it separately. It was launched in 1995 and was the most popular web browser until it was moved by Google Chrome in 2011. It supports add-ons, improved security, and power-saving feature. Now see, as they're saying it supports add-ons, it's not like the Internet Explorer only supports, but maybe it was the first browser which came by this functionality. Nowadays, add-ons is supported by most of the browsers. Now, if we talk about Chrome, they do not use the word add-ons, but they use the term extension. If we talk about Mozilla Firefox, they do not use the term extension, they use add-on. So these are like depends on the individual browser which words they want to, which technical word actually they want to use for the same functionality. Last one we have is our Opera, which is also a web browser developed by the Opera company, Opera Software. It is compatible with Microsoft Windows and Mac OS X operating systems mainly. Although it also works in older versions on Linux, it was launched in 1995. It provides integrated ad blocker, faster Opera Turbo sidebar extension for multitask. In Internet Explorer, AdBlock is a kind of extension which actually you add up whenever you require. But in Opera, it is already integrated. Oh, that is okay. Yeah. See, add-ons, we have an add-ons which are actually used for blocking up the advertisement. Similarly, Opera has inbuilt integrated ad blocker, which actually blocks your all the advertisement and all. Also, it is faster with Opera Turbo, which is a version of it, and sidebar extension for multitask. It can be used for even multitask. So this were some of the web browsers. Now coming on to the web browsers setting, which is for you to explore that if you want to move from and if you want to do any of the things in Chrome browser, you can do in this form. So this is just on you how to explore your browsers, whatever the browser you are using. For your help, the things are listed over here that what are the things required if you want to go for browser settings. So there is Opera, there is Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, and Google Chrome. Okay. So coming on to now add-ons. That was just for your information. If you want to access, explore, you can explore it yourself. Or if you are finding unable to explore it yourself, you can just refer to the links given into the PPT. I'll be sharing it today or tomorrow on the Google Classroom. Now the major part of this, and I'm running so fast because already we have lost, already 2 lectures are missed and others are quite, they've already finished this worksheet practice also they have finished. That's why I'm running quite fast. But if you have any doubts, you can just raise your hands up because I know this is quite easy. Okay, coming back to add-ons and extensions, something which you need to understand. So add-ons are the tools which integrate into our browser. They're similar to the regular apps or programs, but only run when the browser runs. So the first point to note it down is that add-ons is also a kind of tool which has been added to the web browser and which only runs when you start your web browser. It cannot actually run if the browser is not running. Ultimately, it is just attached to the web browser. As web browser will start, as the add-ons functionality will start. Add-ons can allow the viewing of certain types of web content such as Microsoft Silverlight necessary for Netflix movies. Now, add-ons are nothing but actually it is used to enhance the functionality of web browser. Now see, web browsers are generally designed for the local or for the basic functionalities which every user will require. But soon and every day the new applications are launching with new formats. But our browser doesn't support that. But nothing to worry about. It is not like our browser cannot even open it, but our browser can always open it with the help of add-ons. So add-ons increase the functionality of your browser by adding up the add-ons to it. So add-ons is the name given to the smaller applications, smaller tools which get attached to the web browser so that the applications can run on your web browser. Not applications, but the uh, like videos and all can run on your web page. So see, the example is that if you want to see the Netflix movies using web browser, we have an application to see Netflix movies, but always we can access it with the help of web browser too. And if you're going to do that, then they will be asking you for Microsoft Silverlight, which is the function required for playing Netflix movies. So for that, then add-ons would be there, which would you would have to see on the web. You have to find out the add-on and just install it. Now there are two ways to install your add-ons. One way is as we download and run any simple application. In the similar way, you can download the add-on and you can run it on your local machine. That means you can install it on the local machine. So then you can see it into the program box that, okay, this add-on has been installed. Another way is we have already add-on service available in the browser, which you can actually enable and you can add your add-ons over in the browser itself. It will not be appeared locally on our computer system or the laptops, whatever you are using. So there are two types of add-ons. One is which you can install like a local program. Second one is which you can actually enable it into the web browser itself and can get added to the add-ons of your web browser. But both of the things, both of the ways add-ons are there, but requires the same thing that they will actually start when the web browser will start. Otherwise, they will not be usable. Either they are on local machine, but they will not be used. They will be used along with only web browser. As we have learned the Silverlight over there that we have, that was an example of the enabled web browser add-on, which was like directly enabled in the web browser. Similarly, Microsoft Office also gives us add-ons which can be locally installed on your machine. So whenever the docs will be accessed through the internet or through the web browser, it will help to increase its speed to access. So whenever Office document will be accessed over the internet, Microsoft Office add-on will actually increase the speed of it so that it can be used in a faster way on your browser. Coming on to how to remove add-ons, it is as simple as we remove any another application. First point, if it is installed on your local machine, then go to the control panel and remove the program, uninstall the program from there. Second thing, if it is along with your web browser, you can go to the web browser settings where add-ons are available. You can just disable them. In that two ways, you can just remove your add-ons. Where you can find your add-ons, as I was telling you, that Google Chrome has extension name has been used for them. Okay, Divyam. Okay, so first one we were having as Google Chrome. Uh, as I was telling you, the word used for it is extensions. If you go into the more tools and extensions, you can see what all add-ons have you installed. You can do it today. You can open your web browsers and can figure out what all extensions are you using. Mozilla Firefox, if you see, they are add-ons. In Internet Explorer, they are in manage add-ons. And in Opera, again, they are used to be named as extensions. Okay, now comes the confusing part of it, which is a plugin. Now, if we talk about plugin is also a small application which also actually helps the browser to increase or to enhance the functionality of web browser. Plugin and add-ons are not so different. There is very thin line which actually differentiates them. In a way, if we say add-on is also used for adding up the functionality to the browser, similarly, plugin is also used for adding the functionality to the web browser. Because web browser is not designed for all kind of new launched formats. It doesn't support all of them. So then you would be requiring the add-on and the plugins to add it. Now see, plugin is the term which was actually used previously, even though we use it now, but people generally doesn't use so much of plugins. We have very few plugins available in the market. But if we talk about add-ons, add-ons is taken over the complete market. For each single thing, we have add-ons only now. So even though add-ons has taken place over the plugin, but still plugin is a part of now also the web browser. So what actually it is, we'll just read it, that it is a piece of software that acts as an add-on to a web browser and gives the browser additional functionality as add-on is doing. Plugins can allow a web browser to display additional content as add-on do. It was not originally designed to display. An example of a plugin is the free Macromedia Flash Player, a plugin that allows the web browser to display animation using the Flash format. As I was telling you before in add-ons, that if you want to see the Netflix movies, you will be requiring Microsoft Silverlight. Similarly, if you want to see the Adobe means animated files, or if you want to see even the PDF file, Flash formats file, then you would have to install you will have a plugin which will be saying Macromedia Flash Player. You would have to install that plugin. Once the plugin is installed, you can access all the files of this multimedia player. Also, we have a plugin for even Java because there are so many actually files on the web which runs with the help of Java. So if you do not have a Java, we do not want you to install complete setup of Java, but there is a small tool, a plugin for Java, which you can actually install on your system so that it will enable you to open all the Java related files. So this is a plugin. If you define plugin, it is nothing else, but it is also a simple program or piece of, not piece of, but it is an application which has been used for increasing or enhancing the browser's functionality. The most powerful example, if we can say, is Macromedia Flash Player or Adobe Reader to read the files which are in that format because that are not supported by the web browser. Then what's the difference between both of them? So see, plugin is a complete program. If we talk about Macromedia Flash Player, it's a complete program. If we talk about Java, it's a complete program. But if we talk about add-on, it's not a complete program. It is just a functionality. a piece of code. For example, Flash is a plugin made by Adobe is required to play a video in Flash Player. Also, Java is a plugin made by Sun Microsystem, which is used to run programs based on Java. Plugin is not bounded for browsers only. Second important point to notice. First was it is a complete program plugin, whereas add-on is a only part of code. If we talk the second difference between them, second difference says that uh, plugin is not bounded for browsers only. That means it is not like it will be different for different browsers, but add-ons are bounded with the browser. If it is a Google Chrome, they will be having a different add-on, and if it's a Mozilla Firefox, they'll be having a different add-on. Even though they may create the add-ons which are having the same functionality, but they are different for the different browsers because different browsers are built in different way. So the add-ons related to them are also different. They are bounded with the browser. But if you talk about plugin, they are not at all bounded with the browser. In fact, if the plugin, and also plugin is not necessarily to be used with web browsers only. Third point. Why? Because as Java and Macromedia Flash Player is installed on your local machine, if you're opening anything on your local machine also, and it demands Macromedia Flash Player or Java installed in it, just because the plugin is there, they can even run on the local machine. While if you talk about add-ons, it was only working with web browser. It works only with the web browser, and then when the web browser start, it will also start. Otherwise, it will not start. So these are few differences between the add-ons and plugins. Last topic, but not the list, cookies. Do you want me to cover it tomorrow? Because we are left with only 7 minutes. Any doubts today? Okay. Plugins and add-ons, we need again an explanation. Okay, I'll just tell you what is plugin. So plugin is a piece, not piece of code, but it is a complete tool or complete software which is actually having the same functionality as add-on is having, because it also enhances the functionality of web browser, and also add-ons functionality is the same, that it enhances the functionality of web browser. But plugin is a complete tool, whereas if you talk about add-on, it is just a part of code which is just used to implement some functionality. Both works in the same way, but there are some few differences which lies between them, among which the first difference is that plugin is a complete software, a complete tool, whereas if you talk about add-on, it is just a small piece of code. Second point says that plugin is not attached with the web browser. It is not like कि जब भी आपका web browser on होगा तभी आपका plugin execute होगा. Plugin can be used even when you are accessing any local file on your system. Yeah. So whenever you are using any local file on your system, that time also plugin can be used. But if you talk about add-ons, they cannot be used because they only operate with the web browser. They get activated when the web browsers open up. So these are few of the differences which actually add-ons and your plugins are having. So do you have a doubt or now that for using an add-on and plugins must be downloaded? Obviously, if you are going to use add-on or plugins, you would have to download it. Now, add-ons, I already told you, you can download it into the tools that you can. One is like simple application, the way you have download simple application. Second is you can just go to the tool settings, extensions over there. If you talk about Chrome, extensions the word used for it. So you can just go to the extensions, enable over there, so that whatever the add-ons they are getting, it will get embedded into the web browsers only. You can enable it from there, you can disable it from there. If you talk about plugins, plugins are downloaded to your local system. You can install it as you install any another application. Any more doubts with add-ons and plugins? Go and figure out. I'll ask you tomorrow what all add-ons are you using with your